Mary was perfectly used in God at every moment of her life. She still had her free will, but she always used her free will to choose God's will at every single moment. That's her fuse state. You and I are not fused, so it's always a struggle for us to do God's will at every moment. It's hard for us to know that God's will is on us. To listen to or to tell. It's hard. What TV shows are appropriate? What friends are good friends and what friends aren't good friends? But Mary had no problem. She had perfect clarity. And she didn't have any disordered desires in her like we do. And so I wish I just could stop going to Rayleigh's and getting the Tillamook down afterwards of ice cream. They're so good. The cookies and cream and the cherry, those are my favorites. And I say, God doesn't really want Chuck. God would like you, as a parent, as a sacrifice, give that up. And so I bought some dates. I bought, date palms that we had in the Holy Land. So I bought date palms. And they're in my fridge. And I'm not eating them. I wanted to replace the ice cream with the date palms, because it's like, this will be more like Jesus. This is what Mary and Jesus ate. That's their sweets, that I'm eating the ice cream. So that's what I mean. Mary didn't have that difficulty. She would have easily chosen date palms. She would have easily eaten the date palms, and she would have encountered God in the date palms. You and I struggle. That's why she's so amazing. She was blessed to not have any disordered desires in her. And so she was completely fused with her Son. So at the end of her life, her body went to heaven with her soul. You and I do not like ghosts, and we do not like dead cadavers. They're scary. They're scary. That's why none of you're not scaring me right now. Because you're not cadavers and you're not ghosts. But ghosts and cadavers, like ghosts, are like scary things. There's these ethereal being things that don't have bodies. And they're like, ooh. And so we even have to say, no, this is Casper the friendly ghost. You even have to say it's a friendly ghost, because no, they're not friendly. They're these pure spirit ghost things. And cadavers are also not scary. I mean, they're very scary. It's like, wow. I remember the first cadaver I saw was my grandpa. When he died, he went down. I was short. How tall you guys were when you started serving. I could barely see over the casket, and he had a really big nose. And all I could see was his nose. I touched his nose. And I went, oh, it's cold. Scary, right? And we get even scarier as the days go on. So we like to put this person in the ground and they can decompose there. And that's the reason they're scary, is because we weren't created to be ghosts or cadavers. That's why you're not scary, because you're a spirit with your body, as you're supposed to be. And it was never God's intention that when we die, our souls leave our bodies. Our souls and our bodies were supposed to be assumed into heaven, just like Jesus, just like Mary. Our bodies, the molecular structures, divinized, spiritualized, body and soul in heaven. And that's why we go visit our loved ones at the cemeteries. Their bodies, because their bodies are going to rise. That's why we go. We remember their bodies. There's something inside of us that says their bodies were important. I know today in our culture we're saying your body doesn't matter. You are not your body. Your body just moves you around. But you are just your thoughts. You are your spirit and your thoughts. What you do with your body doesn't matter. That's a lot. Okay, always remember that. Tell yourself, not true, not true, not true. We are our bodies. We are one person. I am one person made up of two parts, a body and a soul. And those two cannot be separated. That's why it's unnatural when they get separated when they die. We can't separate our bodies from our souls. And what that means is that whatever happens to my body is happening to my person, and whatever is happening to my soul is happening to my person. And what happens to your soul, you get sad, you get depressed, you have enough stress put on you, and your body will react to that, right? Your body can get very sick. The same thing with your body. If your body gets sick and gets cancer, that can really affect your soul. That can put you into a state of depression, sadness. So the two go together. I try to remind people all the time. I say, folks, if if you're going to smoke marijuana, if you're going to be sexually immoral, and if you're going to use profanity with your body, but you're going to say, I'm a good person, you're not a good person. Okay, that's affecting your person, whatever you do with your body. So always care for your body. Whatever you do with your body, to smile, to love, to cook, to hug, no profanity, beautiful words, beautiful music, whatever you listen to with your body, that's all your body. And keep your body good, keep your body pure, because your body and your soul go together. And then the second point is to always remember the goal. Remember the goal. Jesus is gone. Mary is gone. All our wonderful saints, they're gone. And you and I are going to be gone too. So we always have to remember we're not created for this planet. We're only here for a time to work out our salvation, to get home. We're supposed to be trying to get home. Like Mary and Jesus wanted to go home. And it must have been just such a great suffering for Our Lady. I just can't imagine what that must have been like. So she had to watch her son die on the cross, and her heart is just incredibly broken, along with his. And then he dies, and then she has to take him to the tomb, and she's the last one in the tomb to say goodbye over his dead body. And then I just can't imagine I think that maybe the greatest thing she experienced that he was having to walk away and say goodbye to her son. And then to see the stone moved over, that's it. I will never see my son again until I go home. How much she loved us to be willing to not hang on to her son. To let her son go back to heaven. She had to stay on earth. We don't know how many years, but quite a few years probably, as she helped the early church. Just an amazing woman. And she surrendered her love to all of that for us because she loved us. And so where is she now? I think she's one of these two people that Jesus is talking about here. Because remember when James and John, their mom, came to Jesus, hey, I want a favor for you. Remember what she asked? What she asked Jesus? For James and John? Yeah. She went to him and he said, what you asked her? And she says, command that these two sons of mine sit, one at your right and the other at your left in the kingdom. He said, yes, you will die like I died, but to sit at my right and my left. This is not mine to give, but it's for those for whom it has been prepared by my Father. So clearly there are going to be somebody at his right and his left. I wonder who it's going to be. Maybe me. Maybe you. But he said there's going to be somebody at my right and my left that the Father has chosen. You know who I think it was? Mary. Who else? So I mean, Mary has to be at his right because they say there's been about 100 billion people that have lived on this planet. There's only one human being that's lived fused in God's will their whole life. Nobody else has. Adam and Eve did until they sinned. None of us has been able to live completely fused within the divine will. Except Mary, she did. So she's at his right. And who's at his left? Maybe there's nobody at his left. But after reading the life and the readings and the writings of Louisa Picaretta, I think Louisa is at his left. Because she laid in her bed for 60 years without a bed sore. She never got sick. That's humanly impossible to do. And she lived up the Eucharist for most all of that time. So I'm going to listen to the messages that Jesus said to her. She died in 1947. And he said, Louisa, you are the firstborn. In that my mother is the only human person who's ever lived fused within our wills. You're going to be the first person ever conceived in sin that I'm going to allow to live fused in that state too. Out of all 100 billion human beings, the reason we're not lived fused within God's will, we try to do God's will with his help. But he said, you haven't lived in my will. That's different. And so, when I gave you the Our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name, thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. He said, what that really means to be here?